Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome for Game 2 your Sunday special, Beef Stew Williams! And now, welcome Captain USA, Shawn Rash!
Well, this should be an absolutely terrific game, shouldn't it? Could it be that Europe are only 1 point away, or can the Americans close the gap? Let's hand over to your commentators, Cass Edwards and Nick Halling.
With Guy Kaminski sat alongside me as well, and the only thing missing from this particular confrontation is Don King as the promoter. It really is one of those heavyweight encounters. Why Guy Kaminski wants to be in the booth for this one, I do not know, because if Shawn Rash and Stuart Williams start getting at it, there won't be time for any of us in this comedy box to get a word in edgeways. These two are big talkers, and if one of them gets on top, the other one's going to hear about it.
I just didn't want you two to have all the fun up here, so I had to come and steal the thunder a little bit. But this really is, to me, going to be the match of the Weber Cup so far. But sometimes the big hype never delivers what we're hoping for. But if these two can get some strikes going, you're going to see the full repertoire, gamesmanship, showmanship, the whole bang.
It is a non-contact sport, isn't it, Tenpin?
Well, if it becomes contact, well, I like Stuart's chances.
Maybe that's why Guy has decided to join us up here. It's safer up here.
That's right, yeah. Up in the bleachers here. Stu Williams averaged 240 a game for this tournament.
I would love to hear the chit chat if they were marked up. Only they're marked up in the doubles, but this would be another cracker to hear what they have to say, because they also like to talk to each other, because when doing that, the other player they know sitting next to them can hear every word.
Just to put a different spin on it, yeah, we would be having a lot of fun with this under normal circumstances. Shawn Rash can't afford to have anything distracting him right now. I mean, the Americans aren't out of this. It's not over till it's over. But they've got to start putting a few points together, and this is a match they need the point in, without any question at all. Rash cannot afford to get himself distracted here.
No, he definitely can't, and he's been really good for them this weekend. It's been unfortunate he's felt that back, and this is difficult in this format where you get long breaks between your next match, and he just felt that he was only good for one game. He didn't like to bowl and then get cold and then try bowl again for fear of letting his team down. Just shows how much they care about the team unit. Cass, in years before, we haven't seen that. It always seemed to be like an individual, 4 individuals, but this year the American team looked like a great unit.
Yeah, no, Shawn's really brought them together, and I was just going to say, if Shawn starts getting involved in something, Stuart Williams won't care. Stuart's going to go out there and really aggravate him if possible.
Yeah, two guys that have been on tour a long time. They know the tricks of the trade. So it will be a good one.
How far do we go with this for those of us that don't know, and those of us that don't really follow the tour as closely as you guys do? Is there a lack of respect, professional respect between these two? Does it go that far?
Oh, definitely not. I think it's the fact they have so much respect for each other. They're trying all the covert and underhand tactics to try and get to each other. So I know for sure that Stuart's got to Marshall a little bit this weekend. Marshall started on fire, and as Stuart's kind of, I wouldn't say broken him in that kind of sense, but they have just kept whispering in his ear, and you try too hard and then it doesn't really work out. But that's Stuart's game.
So we're not going to need security to come in between these two.
Well, I was just going to say, Nick, that these two play on the tour together, and they play against one another for a living. So they're taking one another's money if they win or lose on the tour.
Well, put your seatbelts on, boys. We're about to get going.
Here is Rash, who's been bowling, as you say, very well. And is that 10 going to go? It got a nudge from the messenger, but it just ran out of gas.
So a bit of technical stuff out the way early in this match. The lane pattern now is the longest lane pattern we've had of the 5 sessions. Long sword, 45 foot. So there really isn't very much room to the right.
Right, in order to continue watching our coverage of the Weber Cup, you need to press the red button and follow instructions. Coverage will continue behind the red button. So a spare to open up from Sean Rash. Let's see what big Stuart Williams can do, and you know that he will want to throw down an early marker if he possibly can. Like that.
Yeah, pretty good looking shot. Straight down the oar line. Gave it a lot of back end and carried all 10 pins.
That's what they're trying to control, Cass, is that back end. Because of the long oil pattern, what tends to happen, the bowling ball skids so long, it comes in behind the head pin, so it looks like a good shot, but we're seeing a lot of corner pins, Nick, and that's due to the length of the lane pattern, so that's a great shot. Sorry, Nick, they're trying to get that ball to hook up a little bit earlier and hit the head pin more flush, not come behind it, which is difficult to do on a long lane pattern, so execution is vital. We said there at the break point how far down the lane that break point here on Spectre is 45 foot down the lane on the break point, so that's pretty much down there, so that's what they're trying to control. Sometimes we see what looks like a good ball in the corner pin. How it comes off your hand is absolutely vital, and in addition to that, you need to control your ball speed. You get a little bit excited, you try and throw it a bit too hard, you see that ring 10.
Well, so much technically then for these bowlers to consider, think about, control. Stu Williams looking for the double here and taking out that 10 in the corner as well. He's up and running. And I'll tell you what, there's not a lot of trash talking going on down there. Just like in the first match that we've seen, it's business first for these bowlers.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's the business end of the tournament, and maybe they realise it's so important to stay focused. And that sledging that Guy was hoping for may not take place.
No, he's not happy. He's gone very wide. He's missed the head pin.
There's a lane pattern there. That's a shocker there. That really is completely out the window. That ball getting all the way out his break point at 3 board. He's aiming at 7 or 8 board. That's a 5 board miss to the right.
That's
huge. I mean, that's huge for the guys at this level.
Yeah, fortunate to take that 10 pin away as well.
Well, he missed so far right. He managed to get the 10 pin out there.
That's right. Yeah, it was so far right, wasn't it?
Very makeable spare, and he's done just that, but the door opens up, and he's, as we've seen throughout this Weber Cup, he's not 100% happy with the approach, Sean Rash.
Yes, he had a bit of trouble earlier with his slide left shoe. And Stuart's just going out to check that everything's all right.
I think that's definitely...
Or is that playing for time?
No, that's not playing for time. That's playing on Sean's mind. He's just trying to say, oh, maybe the approach isn't right. He knows that approach is absolutely perfect. But I think what's happening is Sean, with his being worried about his back, maybe he's just not getting into the shot, the right way. And he's now played in his mind that the approach is not great.
Yeah, and that's been there right through this Weber Cup, and it's been there for nobody else at all. No one's had an issue with the approach, unless there's been some movement in the crowd or a light comes in. But here is Williams looking to really twist it, and he's done it. This is a fast start.
Well, Stu's carrying on where Don Barrett left off in the last game, didn't he?
And this is meant to be the USA's pick. This is meant to be USA's wheelhouse. This is meant to be all for them, and it looks like it's the backyard for Europe here.
Well, I was saying to Nick, yeah, the USA have sent their top 3 out, but it's working out for the top 3 of Europe.
Oh my goodness, 9
that.
times out of 10 that goes. Boy, that's the moment you realise this Weber Cup is not meant to be.
Yeah, you're right, Nick. It's so unfortunate. I mean, to all intents and purposes, that was a great looking shot for a strike, and the 10 pins been hit a couple of times, and it still won't go.
It's a gravity defier. What a kick in the teeth that is for Sean Rash. Yeah, he's gone. You saw his reaction. I mean, he did not deserve that.
No, but that's the lane pattern, guys. If you just don't get it off your hand, absolutely perfect. That's what happens. You leave that 10 pin. It looks unlucky, but I think Sean needs to slow it down just a fraction. Let the ball pick up a bit sooner.
Well,
Let's get the 10 pin out.
if he's going to make an adjustment, Guy, he's going to have to make it pretty quick because this is starting to slip away. We're looking at 30 plus pins already if Stewart strikes here. And he's on the money tonight, isn't he?
Yeah, and Stewart playing fractionally inside where Sean's trying to bowl. And it looks like his ball, because it's not getting as far to the right of the head pin, the angle into the pocket much straighter, and he's getting the 10 pin out there. He's only getting about getting it out to 7, 8 board.
Yeah, so it's a narrower angle coming in.
Yeah, and it's getting the 10 pin out. It's not hitting the pocket. These guys are so good. They're not trying to hit the pocket. They're trying to make sure they're getting all 10 pins down. So let's see if Sean makes any alteration.
Well, he has to, Guy. This is a 35-pin deficit. This is already must-strike territory for Rash.
And you add the fact that they're 17-12 down in the Weber Cup. This is desperation stakes.
Well, he deserved the last one. How's that one come a little bit too late in the day? There is still time for this to turn around, but he needs help from Stu Williams.
Now he threw that ball on exactly the same line as Stewart there. Both hit the 7th board dead on. But now it's about making shots, Cass. You know, when you've got it lined up, you still have to execute. And under the pressure, people battle to execute.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There's so much to go wrong from the start of the approach to the foul line, for starters. And of course, it's pretty heavy oil in that middle of that lane anyway. Okay, we know it goes 45 feet, but in the middle of the lane, it's still very, very heavy oil.
Williams looking to keep the tension ratcheted right up, and I'll tell you what, he is perfect at the midway point here.
There's still time for one, guys.
We know what you mean.
Yeah, just that ball almost starting to come a bit high now, Cass. I think the lane's transitioning, so I think Stu would need to probably move his feet a board or two just to stay ahead of that transition. Otherwise, if he doesn't move, that ball will go through the nose shortly.
It's got to be a strike, and it is, but he is just chasing and trying to hang on here because the story of this match so far has been Stu Williams. 5 out of 5. Rash has bowled one bad ball, yes. He's also had no luck. But you know what? I know what you mentioned there, Cass. Are we going to have a 300 game? Is this the man that's going to deliver it? Nothing he can do about it, of course. But if Williams, if you gave him, as a team player, the option of the point or the glory of 300, he'll say, I'll take the point.
Every single day of the week and twice on Tuesdays. The only thing, remember the one match he played, he had a massive lead. Then he had that aberration and missed the single pin, had a split. So I hope that's not playing in the back of his mind, that he just tended to open the door for his opposition.
Well, if there's one thing Stu has not had yet in this Weber Cup, it's a complete game. Oh, and even when he hasn't got a good ball, he's taken all 10. That was the first sign of him going offline, and he's still taken the lot.
But it did snap up, Guy, like you said, higher through the nose, left the solid 9-pin standing. But hey, it was must have been a lucky Larson shot because that 9-pin's gone with the messenger.
But as we called it, Kath, he did actually move his feet a little bit left, but clearly not enough. But he is still staying ahead of the transition. I'm sure that'll make him move a little bit more for the next one.
Got to be a strike here for Rash. And it is. He's doing everything he can do. That very quietly is a turkey for the American skipper.
Both these players have moved inside now. But you see this quite often, Nick, in matches when you start off badly and your opposition's on fire. He kind of drags you along and you get sucked into the momentum. But what happens sometimes is that when the guy ahead stops striking, so do you, which he can't afford. First of all, he needs the opportunity from Stewart.
Yeah, I can't see Stewart giving up. He's pretty much locked and loaded here.
Well, you say that, Cass. That last ball was the first one that had drifted out of the pocket. He got away with it.
Yeah, I mean, but Guy kind of explained why an adjustment may well be made now.
Well, let's see how he makes that adjustment, because that, I think, is the key to this point right here, isn't it? If he does adjust, and works out the puzzle, then he'll be on his way.
So he was standing on 29th board, then he moved to 30 board. Let's see where he puts his feet on for this shot.
There is the answer.
Slightly fortunate. There was a light on the head, but had so much rotation on it. Just hit him thin, made him spin. Carries all 10 for 7 strikes in a row.
He actually threw the ball a bit more to the right there. Cass got it out to 5 board where they've been aiming at 7-8. Got that out to 5. So obviously decided instead of moving his feet, he pushed the ball fractionally more to the right.
Well, it's all going wrong here for Rash, isn't it? And this session has started disastrously. The Americans have picked the lane condition they wanted. They've sent out their best and most consistent players. Troop's been beaten because Barrett was just so sensational. And now Rash has walked into a Stu Williams who has saved his best game for last. Williams in singles competition going into this one, yet to crack 250.
Well, I'm afraid to say that this match is just about over, and with it is probably going the Weber Cup. But what we can look forward to, Cass, you've been talking about it all weekend. Could we see the perfect game?
Well, we're kind of keeping our fingers crossed here, as are the audience. So come on, Stuart.
Only needs 3 more. Say only. That's easy to say up here.
Well, one more's got the game tied up, isn't it?
Not tied up. Thank goodness he's got a big cushion.
I was going to say, talk us through that one, Guy.
Yeah, there's a commentator's curse right there. That's a little unfortunate. You know, as we've been talking about, if you just get it a little right or a little too far down the lane, it comes in behind the headpin, and what it does, it shoots the headpin in front of the back two, and you leave the pocket 7-10. It is a bit unfortunate, but also, unfortunately, what can happen in this lane condition.
Suddenly, after 8 frames, just the tiniest glimmer of hope for Sean Rash and Team USA. He's got to just put down 2 strikes and see what happens. There's one of them.
It's been an unbelievable Weber Cup, Nick, and just the Europeans seem to find that extra gear yesterday, and they haven't taken their foot off the pedal.
But basically, if Stu Williams just stays clean, he's going to be okay. And comfortably okay as well.
Depends on the count. Obviously, he doesn't have to get a 6 or a 7 spare, but yeah, 2 spares should, 2 8 spares, 2 9 spares should lock it up.
We're not seeing many 6s and 7 spares in this Weber Cup.
Well, he's only missed the pocket once.
And he's not going to make that mistake again. That is game, set and match.
And that's all you needed to know. That was a critical shot for this match. Stuart knew it, and he let Sean know it as well.
Yeah, great looking shot. And it's a great looking game from Stu Williams, the number 2 man that's come out tonight for Europe, following his captain.
Rash has at least made him bowl for something, but the reality is 5 pins will do this. And Sean Rash knows that is something he can do with his eyes closed. Well, 253 not enough, but just listen to this place. The Stu Williams, who has yet to bowl a 250, has saved his best for when it matters most. That is Team Europe 1 point from retaining their Weber Cup.
Stu Williams, 279, a fantastic looking game. Don't take it away from Sean Rash. 253 is a pretty good game to be beaten on.
And a match played in excellent spirit as well. Let's not forget that. There was none of the talk, none of the pushing and shoving verbally or any other which way. Stu Williams was all business. Sean Rash didn't get the breaks. But take nothing away. Rash did not lose that match. Williams won it, and he won it emphatically. What a time to come up with a 279. Europe on the brink.